Live from Las Vegas at the Poker Go studio that's usually used to watch poker games for millions and millions of dollars, but here we are watching some PUBG as the plane flies overhead and these teams drop down. You can see the scoreboard on your screen. The big story, North America showing up yesterday in a big way. Tempo Storm, Space Station Gaming at the top, but we're always going to be looking out for FaZe, for Knights, for the European giants that always have the ability to come back. So thank you all for joining us here on twitch.tv/WSOE. Sims, we talked a little bit about it before this became underway. This is kind of the time here for FaZe, kind of the time for the Knights to bring it back and make something happen. You are a believer, as you mentioned, that North America will be able to keep it up on top. What are you thinking now as we're seeing these teams dropping on to the map?
So, you know, we've always had this thing where it's been a little bit of a meme, so to speak, with NA and EU banter. We've already generally had that kind of fun and games. They showed at DreamHack that there was more than enough capability for NA to start standing up against EU and playing up to that kind of level. So far, this tournament's kind of only, you know, set a further precedence on that. The NA teams are doing absolutely fantastic, and it's great to see. I mean, honestly, all right, we've given Vitality a little bit of stick, but coming in today, number 2, who thought they would be not only at the bottom, but so far at the bottom, you know, over 100 points below TG and even Alliance floating around that area. C9 have had a bit of a rough time, so, you know, without any BM, it's kind of not necessarily expected to be there, but not a massive shock to be there.
Right.
A bit of engagement up at ES. Poor Smithy. I think he's going to die here. This could be rough.
Oh, the vehicle kills. Remember, we had the bounties going on. Smithy trying to be sneaky underneath the bridge, but here comes Adam from Dignitas. He saw him, and he's got the pistol.
There's a bit of a two-sided, double-edged sword to this one. All right, Adam might
he's
want
a little
that
damaged,
one kill.
by the way.
He is. Is he actually going to check for him? No, he's not. You see, the double-edged sword would be the fact that I'd be wasting time for 1 kill.
Well, remember, we have a first blood bounty. We have a first blood bounty going on.
And if he runs him over, that makes it even better.
I think you take your car, drive into the water, and smash him. Smash him to the bottom. Get your first blood. Get your vehicle kill.
I think Dig. They're not that. No, they know that they've got a longer game to play, and focusing on one player for 7 points is probably not really worth it. If they got the kill, happy days.
You gotta look at it more of a long-term strategy
bigger picture.
I get that.
And also the circle's gone their way as well. They're going to be up at the top around Severny doing their usual thing. They'll be able to go in there and get looted up.
There's no one up there.
No, there isn't. This is the thing with the northern area. It's kind of like military island, so to speak, and down on Sosnovka and Millibase. You usually only get one team, polar opposites, so you'll have Dig. Sometimes even Alliance if it's Europe up in the top ends of Severny. But Alliance know that Dignitas is actually, as our beautiful observers are showing us, Alliance know this is North American turf. They're going to be flying up there. So that's why they've opted to go down south and take over Sosnovka around. But as you say, the circle does come in. And just kind of floating back to that bigger picture, the harder thing for a European team to win this, I mean, don't get me wrong. FaZe, they're not out of it yet. You're looking at Method, for instance, who are around 200 to 300 behind the next place, behind first place, excuse me. The harder thing that needs to happen, it's a bigger picture and a bigger puzzle. The teams have to do bad. Not only do FaZe, Knights, you know, and these teams that are further down the board have to do and play lights out amazing and get at least a minimum of 3 wins on the board. You're banking on the teams at the top going out, you know, subpar 10th place, 10th, 11th, 12th, all the way down to 16th.
That's a lot that has to go for you.
It is. There's a lot of pieces that have to fall in the puzzle in order that to work. And to be honest with you, I think SSG and Tempo, even Envious, they're all looking fantastic. It's nice to see Totality doing so damn well.
Actually, I agree.
They're kind of showing signs of greatness and what they can do. Vitality, though, as our beautiful observers again are showing us, they have to do something today. Otherwise, I honestly think they need to go back to the drawing board and say, look, do we need a team change? You know, does it need something that drastic that you have to bring in a new player and really switch things up? Because whatever's happening, all right, they're doing well in online leagues. I'll give them that. You look at, you know, I think they've, off the top of my head, quote me if I'm wrong, I do apologize if I am, but pretty sure they've qualified for the upcoming GLL finals. So it's not as if they're out of it completely. But if they do finish in a 16th place here, it's not a good wave of momentum or positivity to be riding into further and future LAN finals.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you know, we are only halfway through this event. We're at the halfway point. So literally this scoreboard can completely flip on its end if
Totally.
you know, if it were to happen. Like,
I think
that's possible.
That's
We're
the wonderful
halfway
thing
through,
about PUBG.
We got 6 rounds. We had 6 rounds yesterday. We got 6 more rounds today. Anything can happen. And speaking towards the circle here, we got a top left circle, kind of still central-ish. It's not like we have too much water up in the north or the west here. But what's really sticking out to me is obviously FaZe. They go to Milta Power. That's their spot. You know, it makes me wonder, when I go to Milta Power, there's always a bunch of people there. Why don't people just let me loot Milta? I'll have to figure that out. But the characteristic here is FaZe. They're finding themselves pretty far away from the circle. So if you're FaZe right now, currently in the middle of the standings, you know, around 8th or 9th in our standings here, they have a long way to go to the circle, and we talked about how more technical circles might favor them. What's your strategy here from FaZe? Is this a strategy where they try to go really all the way far to the north of this zone and maybe end up encountering a Dignitas and take the coastal route, or do you see them going a different way? How do you see FaZe approaching this coming from that Milta area?
In terms of where the circle is, it's actually not as I know, and it looks quite bad, but it could be much, much worse. You could have like maybe 40, 50% water in there. You do get these circles where they will hard shift, and then they really become a time-dependent thing. I mean, FaZe, from Milta, you're not at a point where there's any major choke points, because the only choke point that really hit is if they decided to go for a lumber mill, and they're never in a million years ever going to do that, because it's just such an awful place to try and traverse around. They're more than likely skirt prison, which is what we tend to see them doing. Maybe even pick up some loot on the way by. There is a little compound there, which sometimes we do see them stop, have a poke around, see if the Knights is still floating around, see if they can catch anyone off guard. All the teams, and you'll probably see us switching between POBs and such. A couple of players will try and, you know, just have a bit of a warning shot, maybe get a lucky headshot in the vehicle.
You think more of a direct route, though, from FaZe towards that zone?
They do like to kind of skirt the north a little bit.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a very, very high-paced, high-placed circle. You'll even see them skirting like the edge, all the way up in Stalbert.
But looking at that, you know, as you say that, you know, looking at that map, look at all these teams converging in the top right here. You know, FaZe in the area, Knights in the area, NRG in the area, Totality. Those 4 teams are all kind of converging in the top right here. So could create some fireworks here. And also Dignitas, you know, they're kind of lurking, and I'm sure they're going to be aware of any teams trying to come into that area.
Yeah, the Eastern Bank could be a problem. I'm intrigued to see if anyone decides to take
Look at all these teams right now, man.
Yasnaya Bridge. If anyone takes the Yasnaya Bridge, they're going to be in trouble, because that is a very nasty bottleneck. But they'll probably, to be honest with you, they'll all skirt around the top end of the pond. There is a pond just on the northern edge. Okay, first.
No!
And he got the vehicle run over. So that's.
So
he gets not only the
bounty.
So he gets the 2
was
bounties.
That first blood too?
It is. It's first blood. So Drayden gets a point in the first blood bounty and gets a point in the vehicle kill.
That's funny, because we were talking about it in the very beginning of this game, and we're like, all right, are we going to see it? We're like, no, maybe not. But there you go.
Okay, that's a response on it. So obviously you see that come in.
Revenge.
He's not going to have any time. Usually, sometimes you can actually pull up in the vehicle. Maybe it's high risk, high reward. You do tend to get your player up, but you also might lose your vehicle, or even might lose 2 of you. You can see what he was attempting to do, pull the UAZ up in front of them, give themselves some cover, res your guy, but honestly, it was just too little too late. 2 players. It's revenge for NRG. You take one of our players, or take one of yours.
2 players down, 1 down from NRG, 1 down from Knights.
This could be a bottleneck. Look at NRG where they are exactly. If they set up and pull up here, they might actually hit Totality. This is the bridge that I spoke about, where it can be a potential bottleneck. It's really nasty.
And only 2 from Totality here. Their other 2 teammates are a little bit deeper inside the circle, so they might just try to drive by. But Taro still has not crossed this bridge. And look at this energy. They're jumping out. They're trying to get these shots off. But it looks like communication is sound there. Totality communicating with each other about what's going on, and they're able to avoid any casualties at that moment. Trying to get together there in the middle of the map. Meanwhile, we have FaZe coming in the top right of that zone. Knights coming in deeper in that upper right area. Meanwhile, in kind of the middle left quadrant of the circle, there's just a ton of action going on as far as how many teams are there. We got FlyQuest, Cloud9, Optic, Method, Tempo Storm, all in a very small, concentrated area. So we'll have to see what develops there as we see Totality Taro. He's getting shot at. He's sliding out of control here, and he's going to try to escape this fire here. That's Mortify from Team Gates, trying to get those shots off. But Totality brushing danger quite a few times, but able to get a pretty nice position in that zone.
He's very, very lucky. He had all the trees that he could actually kind of weave between in and out, because that tire on those. You take a tire out. I mean, the problem is what he does. We had a patch quite a long time ago where the tires actually pop now. They didn't at first. They used to just be out and slow you down, but they pop, so the vehicles do jump, and if they spin out of control, rather than carry on going forward, it puts you in a situation where you're basically a sitting duck, you're stationary, and people can just smash you up. So to have those trees, he was very lucky to get out of that one. Dignitas, they're just going to sit here. They didn't really have much of a transfer to go down, to be honest with you, moving all the way from the top from Severny. So they've not gone too far. They'll hang around on this hillside looking down on the shooting range area and just wait all these long rotations. I mean, you asked me where exactly are we going to see FaZe come from. Look at what FaZe are doing. FaZe are well and truly, they've gone the northern route. They've taken the northern coastline. They're coming around Severny. They're playing the later game. You'd expect no one to be there, or at least FaZe wouldn't expect anyone to be there. They can chill for now and just see what happens. Looking at all these further POVs across the board, though, a couple of shots are going to happen as teams do begin to converge.
And at the same time, we had a chance to talk to a member of Tempo Storm earlier, and he was talking about, okay, how can we find the spots of least concentration? So we're going to look out for that. But at the same time here, we're seeing some a little bit of a battle going on. This is FlyQuest. This is MicroStar from FlyQuest. FlyQuest against Optic here in this area. And this is kind of near Georgia Pole, like kind of middle left of this quadrant.
That could be amazing. If he bounces off
one
this
down
wall,
from Optic.
this will be amazing.
Does he know? I'm sure he knows he got the knockdown.
My God, he played it perfectly. He charged it up. He obviously left it so he could at least lowball it, which he did. That's 2 players down now. MicroStar's doing a fantastic job here. He's just got to be aware of Valiant. If Valiant comes flying up the stairs, then he could be in all kinds of trouble. Smoke grenade will go down to at least cover it now. So not only does it cover where he's going to be, but it'll cover his footsteps. This might allow him to jump out of the window, but he's been spotted. That's rather unlucky. He also gets called out, but at least tag him up and get 7 points in the bag.
Yep, he got the kill there, but he got some shots on himself, so he's going to run away. Optic, they want revenge. He's looking for him, and he's going to be down. There's no way he survives this. There's no way. He's going to find him, and he's down. Yep, MicroStar down. Revenge taken. FlyQuest versus Optic, 1 down from each.
Boonage has arrived a tiny bit late to the party. I'd expect him to kind of probably disengage from this one. Valiant might be able to get some good shots if he's lucky, which he does, but he's also getting battered from across the map, to be honest with you. That'll force them back. His teammate's still bleeding out in the corner. Someone go help Petra, please.
There's always that discussion of, it's 16 teams on the fields. If you're taking those early fights, you're always thinking, okay, both teams want to outlast everyone else. So there's that idea of, okay, do we back off a little bit and live to fight another day because we know there's a bigger picture here? Or do those direct fights happen, which is where the C word comes into play, confidence. Like, are these teams confident enough to take those fights and take those convincing wins, get those kills? Or are they going to be a little bit more passive, especially on a day like today where there's $100,000 on the line? So the strategical elements really have to be on the mind of these teams. Do you really want to take those fights, or do you want to be a little bit more patient and really wait for those moments where you can make sure that you're going to be successful?
Alliance in a really good position. They can just watch people try and converge either upon them or just rotate around them and let the firing squad go, which is what they're having a crack at doing.
Oh,
that's a little bit unfortunate, but he's trying to help his teammate.
That felt on target to me.
A tiny bit more higher with the bullet drop, and that should have been a headshot. That'll tag him in the chest. His teammate does go down, though, but they at least get the return fire, so trade-off for trade-off.
Jump in the car,
I think the most important thing is here, go and save your teammate. Go and pull up on him. Oh, he's dead, actually. Never mind, he can't do that.
He's getting out of there. But that was only a drop down, so he'll be able to
flush
to be revived. There's Totality against Team Gates in the top right of this new zone. As we see FaZe at the same time as this is happening is kind of wrapping around the right-hand side of the zone and going actually to the bottom. I kind of like this movement from FaZe. But quite a bit of action happening across this map here as Mortify from Team Gates taking some shots at Totality. Totality just trying to find any semblance of cover at this point, trying to make their way down south. I wonder at what point do they try to swing around back to the left and just ditch this fight?
Come on, boys, shoot the if they shoot the vehicles, they'll get him.
Blow them up.
Yeah, they'll literally just got to go for the vehicles.
Does that count as a vehicle kill?
It will.
If you blow up the vehicle,
they'll get the points for it.
Do you get the bounty points though? I don't know if we can answer
actually,
that.
Is
that a good question?
Probably
I don't know.
not.
Probably not. I feel like it has to be like the vehicle has to be in motion.
But right now, this is kind of what I spoke about earlier on. This is high risk, high reward. He's committing to trying to res his teammate, but in doing so, will he actually give himself up? To get away from this one won't be easy because the kind of
there's no one else in the area.
Intended. This is a rock and a half place.
There's really no other teams in the area.
Vehicle's gonna go. And now he can't get away. That's the thing. Now there's damage. There's literally no cover to get away from it. They're gonna have to bail on this one, try and do whatever they can.
They're sitting ducks right now.
It might be an overcommitment.
Okay, so the options here: return fire or somehow try to run. Maybe try to put some cover fire down and get out of there, but Totality having some trouble. Team Gates with an excellent position across the river there on the high ground, able to cover this distance. They have the scopes that they need to really apply this pressure.
They need a pick. If one of his teammates is a sniper in the distance, they just need some kind of pick. all right, you still have 2 others to deal with, but knocking 1 player removes 2 players from the game because they have to go and get the res onto that. So they'll have to commit 1 player to save the body and pick him up. So one of the players in the background lost HD, or the...
This is so tough.
They just need one of them to kind of step up here. If he had a long-range sniper rifle, dink one of them, put them down, and then they might be able to make something happen here, but it's not going well so far.
All right. Meanwhile, Envy making a huge jump into the middle of the circle. I think they had 1 casualty. At the same time, FaZe making their way in the bottom right of the circle. The Knights actually coming right behind FaZe, and that's Mixie there, who is currently being tracked down by the Knights, and some shots being fired there. But FaZe able to run off into the distance there. So Knights and FaZe going to stay separated for now. It's a little bit nervous there. It's like, okay, our 2 favorite European teams, are we going to see an early fight here? But no, they're splitting up there in the bottom right. What could have been a fight, ending up to be some sort of a peace agreement. So they're going to mind their own business. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, we got more towards the middle. Method, Alliance, Cloud9, Tempo Storm, kind of in that area in the top left-ish. We got FlyQuest and Optic. They've been exchanging fire a little bit. But yes, this battle between Team Gapes and Totality continuing to unfold. As Totality, they're trying to retreat. Looks like they got some vehicles, so they're going to be getting out of there. Team Gates have to be feeling good about that. They're in Raz and they're alone, and they haven't really encountered anyone but Totality, and they had a good fight there. But now we see the zone moving just into more of a central location right on top of the ruins. Looks like 5 teams already involved in this zone here. So a pretty nice circle location, honestly, for a lot of these teams. Nothing too crazy. And now we're going to start seeing some movement a little bit closer. Who's going to make those deep moves into this circle, and who's going to stay closer to the edge? As we see Vitality and FaZe getting pretty close to each other. We're looking at Dignitas here. Looks like they're making their way up the left side of the zone. And now we're going to, again, all 16 teams are still up. You know, we're in Vegas, over-under. I feel like we're very close to a team getting knocked out here because we're running out of real estate in this round number 7.
This circle's a really interesting one because it's so much diversity. On one side of the ruins, you can play off the rocks, you can play off all the little gaps, little bits and bobs and stone buildings here, there, and God knows everywhere. At the top end, you've got a little island between yourselves, so one team could really play the late game, something like Totality, and they could just wait on the opposing sides. A couple of trees and rocks you can behind, so they could just chill for now.
Yep.
Optics also inside the ruins, so you might see a C9 engagement from that one. No one's taken Waterworld stroke Venice yet. You may potentially see TG walk into that one and actually approach it, but as you say, teams are getting so close together now. Yeah. Real estate is becoming very, very prime.
Yep.
They're all going to be close together. You've still got Alliance, who is still lurking in the yellow zone, overwatching the entirety of the central dead space of the map. And then you've got these little side fights. Vitality kicking off against FaZe. Now this is the battle of the Milta boys. Mexi will claim the first victim as a knock does move on to Araxia.
Yeah, that was a good shot there, and honestly, a pretty good battle because there's a lot of damage done to Mixie a little bit earlier from Vitality, so looking out for that. Meanwhile, the Knights making an interesting move. It seems Voxic kind of sprinting straight to the center of the circle, and now this exchange is continuing to happen here between FaZe and Vitality.
This is so important because most of the players on both sides are still outside of the circle. This is literally a battle on the edge of the circle, so whoever wins this one is going to allow the team to move up and actually
control this area.
Yeah, they'll play edge. No one else is here.
Yep.
So it's a very important battle. They need to at least kind of, whoever does it will be a victim, so to speak, because they can get pushed back. If they decide to play passive here, is what I'm trying to say. They need to play aggressive. If they play passive, it will come down to the blue doing more damage than good. They will force the engagement rather than being able to take it as you see it. Yeah. And I think that's a second knock now for Vitality. So 4 versus 2 here. This is your 16th place team.
Yeah.
How devastating would it be to go out in 16th place on day number 2?
Could happen. And they might be getting sandwiched a little bit because Ghost is kind of lurking a little bit to the left-hand side. 2 down from Vitality right now, desperate for some sort of revival. And a lot of trouble for this team. I mean, as this was happening, by the way.
They've literally bailed on it. They've disengaged from it completely.
2 down. 2 down from Vitality.
FaZe can't win this
FaZe winning that fight.
16, so
FaZe securing the edge. And Vitality left to...
That's nice. That's a really nice shot coming out of Kent on the back there. He can look, but unfortunately the bullets will come through.
Envy trying to sneak into this zone right now.
There's no way really you can kind of heal him on this one. They're going to push on it. They're going to try and keep them gatekeeps, as you can see, moving all the way up to the blue.
Yep.
He's got a rough idea. The vehicle, you can hear whether they're going to carry on or whether they stop. With a flaming vehicle like that, there's no way you're going to do it. He will claim 1 kill. Caden, though, in the distance.
Envy. Only
running off into the blue. I mean, look at this aggression, pushing him and forcing him into the blue. They want the kill and they want the...
They have the positional advantage. They have the numbers here.
The important thing is when you do this, you don't have to worry about your backside then, because there's nothing more triggering in a game than playing your game and someone just crawling out of the blue and killing you from behind.
And look at this.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, and look at this. FaZe immediately recognizing
the
proximity of Ghost here. And they're not hesitating. They're going straight for Ghost right now. They're looking for this fight. They're playing with confidence.
I want to see it. This is what you want to see. A bit of aggression. Get stuck in there. They've got an M24 in the back pocket. They've got an SKS. You've got some damn good snipers on there. Jempty's a beast. Fuzz is a beast. I think Exeti's got the 24 as well. So like,
they're backing up a little bit, though.
I mean, if they don't necessarily feel comfortable, why would you? The circle's updated. They might think, okay, we're fighting Ghost right now. If they just move up into the circle and sit on the edge of the circle, they're literally going to gatekeepers. There's a bigger picture that you've always got to constantly think about.
And honestly, FaZe making their presence known there, right? So scaring Ghost a little bit, right? And now Ghost is going to go the other way. They're like, okay, FaZe is here. They're doing well. They're getting shots on us. We're going to leave them alone, and maybe that's what FaZe is looking for as well. But right now we're seeing a skirmish here between FlyQuest and Ghost. Ghost retreating from FaZe, running right into FlyQuest and having a good time about it. FlyQuest in a lot of trouble. Punage is down. Meanwhile, Caden from Envy ended up being taken out as he was trying to get into the zone there. Also, 2 members of the Knights are down. There's only 2 up. I was watching it earlier. They were making a really weird move straight into the circle, but only 2 around. But here we see FaZe trying to take down these last members of Knights here.
So 2 things to bring up. 1, third-party system coming into effect now. You saw the Knights on the back foot. They've come in from behind. They've taken out Mexi, which is now removing a very strong individual player.
Wow,
Exete is also tagged up as well. This could be all kinds of danger. I'm interested to see how they play.
How does it happen?
There's nowhere really for them to go.
It's 4v2. How do they lose Mexi?
They go through Ghost or they go through FlyQuest. Pick your poison. Where do you want to go? How do you want to do it? This is a banging anchor, though. 8 times on the SKS. He spotted one. That's a great spot as well. And a wonderful dink straight to the face. That's an insta, which suggests to me that FlyQuest are going to go out in 15th place. Yes, they do indeed. Kramer also now onto Shiv. That should be 1 member of Vitality alive. All these teams dying early. Really quick mention, though. Envious. They were 3rd place coming to this. One of those top-ended teams. They're out in 16th. That's a poor round number 1. And again, it speaks to the bigger picture of PUBG, where any given Sunday, anything can change compared to day number 1.
And we are on a Sunday where $100,000 are on the line for these players at the PUBG Pan-Continental live from the Aria Poker Go studio in Las Vegas. We're down to 14 teams in this round number 7. We had 6 rounds yesterday, 6 rounds today here on twitch.tv/WSOE. Thanks for joining us as we're watching FaZe trying to charge back up this leaderboard. They did not have a great day yesterday, but trying to get things off, started off on a nice foot here, and they're getting some kills. They're playing well positionally. I was a little confused. They were taking a They had a 4v2 opportunity against the Knights, but they split up into 2 and 2, and then they lost Mexi with the 2v2 against the Knights. So that confused me a little bit. It's like, why not take the 4v2? Don't risk anything. But now FaZe left with 3 and making a big move to the center of the zone.
Ghost are really in trouble. I mean, you look now at how many teams. They're on the edge. Okay, they're in, but you've still got Drayden behind them. Alliance, Tempo Storm, SSG, Dignitas, FaZe, they're all going to have eyes on them. There's really nowhere else to go. They're going to literally have trees and bushes to play with and hide with. Feezy onto Drayden. We did mention him earlier on. He kind of moved off a little bit away from the rest of his teammates and maybe has extended a bit too far because he's got spotted. Alliance, they dead and buried, put him in the grave there. Rather unfortunate to them. I think they've got about 1 or 2 players left. Meanwhile, we've still got this battle over in the Ruin side. You've got C9 in there, you've got NRG in there, you've got TG, Optic, who else have we got? We've got Method. Ruins is messy.
There's a lot of
it's a messy area.
There's a heavy concentration of PUBG players and teams here in the Ruins area, and what a fun place to have some firefights with all this natural terrain. As we see NRG, this is like almost like a microcosm of just a little mini little death match going on here at the Ruins, as you have to tackle all of these different obstacles. And there's literally 4 or 5 different teams in this area, so look out for the sneaky tactics, as we just saw that from NRG, able to get a nice move there.
So one of the problems I have with Ruins is the fact that it's just a huge defilade to get out of it, which all these teams, now look at this circle.
Open space.
All these teams have to get out of Ruins.
Sooner the better, too.
It's horrendous. You have to run up the hill. You're an open target. The people at the back are going to have a harder time. The people who are probably lucky out of all of this are Optic Gaming. They can extend up north, maybe rotate around and come a bit later. But again, as soon as they do that, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, they hit SSG. Ruins right now, major slaughter because of the position of the circle. We might just lose 3 or 4 teams on this next rotation because it's nasty.
Absolutely.
It's a complete bottleneck.
Stand by for that as we see Method here losing Andy Pyro a little bit earlier. They're trying to make a move down to the bottom right here, but Alliance is ready and waiting, so a battle perhaps inevitable in that location. Meanwhile, the zone-centered right onto FaZe. FaZe is in the absolute center of our zone here. They're going to be thrilled about that. I got to think that they're going to be very active about really watching their surroundings and taking those shots. But here we have
spotted. Vizi's just seen Method
coming in here.
They've put a couple of shots on the
back.
Got
to hear him.
Alliance is actually in it, so Real's will be
just outside the window.
Initial one will come through. Will he see the second? He doesn't. So there's a nice trade off there at least. He will flush him down. Bit of a BM there, fair enough. Knock him and kill him. Fair play. Sigzy and Vizi, last two standing here for Alliance.
2 for 2 there.
They're going to get hit by the blue. I mean, it's going to do so much damage. Again, forcing them back here, keeping them locked down.
And looking at FaZe here. Again, they're in the middle of the zone, so they're looking in every which way. And looking at the zone as well, there's a lot of open space here, not too much cover. So I think FaZe is they're in a great spot here. They got to make sure not to take too much damage, but they're in a very central location in this zone, and I think they have to be active looking around them and making sure that they can pick off anyone who's trying to just scramble and run in there.
Notice he had the level 3 vest on as well. That might have just saved him. You saw how low his HP was. That might have quite literally just saved him to at least be able to push on through. Still the level 2, still the level 3. This is where things like, if you look at Lost HD now with the budget helmet, he's got the Biker's helmet on level 1. 30% damage reduction is absolutely nothing. Vitality, you see Monkey go down. Now I know for a fact they only have one player left, so that'll be them out in 11th place.
And now the scramble.
Here we go. This is it. And now look, Frolic got in early. He's pretty much ahead of the game here on top of the hill. Anyone else is behind him, he can pretty much batter, but the problem is it's the teams in front that then become a problem.
So you have to constantly be aware, and that's Tempo Storm right in front of them. So you got to be aware of that Optic a little bit in front of them as well. So Cloud9 could be sandwiched right now. Let's see how they handle this. A lot of firefighting happening here. NRG at the mercy of. Look at there's so much going on here. Okay, Optic. I don't even know what to say right now because there's so much.
This is literally the circle perpendicular to Ruins. This is what it does. It sandwiches you in on this hillside.
Cloud9, are they down for the count here? At least 2 down in that particular situation. But
Still 2 up.
Yeah, Ram up. Here we're seeing Cloud9 2 up, 2 down. Totality eliminated. They're trying to come in from the north, but I think Optic were able to meet them and shut them down. There we go, 2 down from C9, not able to be revived. Optic near a burning car.
Again, this is what they did. All right, they had the better end of that stick when you're moving out of Ruins.
That's one up for Optic.
But as soon as they came in, they had to deal with SSG, which they lost 3 players in that one transition. And it's just, you hate to see it, but you love to see it. It's what these circles can do. It's a nasty little trap, and that's exactly what it's done. We got C9 on the edge. We're going to have Optic on the edge. Alliance also playing edge. Dignitas and FaZe, they're front and center. SSG versus Dignitas.
They still have 4 up. Space Station still is 4 up, and not many teams have 4 up. I think Space Station and Dignitas are the only 2 right now with 4 members of the team alive.
This will change. They're all just going to run down. I mean, they want to push Dig out. This is the only way they get into this. They kill Dig and they advance forward and they take their position.
They got it. They got high ground. And
Fuzz in the
it feels like it's possible. Meanwhile, we have a sneaky Optic member that might have something to say about this.
D-Master's keeping an eye on him. He knows he's still there.
Okay, that's good.
So I wouldn't expect him to be able to do too much. He's on the rotation as well, so I'd expect to see him go down very, very soon. SSG are going to go back and help him out. At least they'll all be together. And then I'd probably say the advancement onto Dignitas. It's all right doing the knock and if that nade hits something, my God.
Almost.
Amazing.
It's a good idea. Oh, got a drop down. I don't know if those
that hit him in the car. Literally, Gemsy just battered him in the car.
Oh, there you go. I love it. And that's positioning, that's accuracy, and just overall skill there from FaZe. Being in a great spot in that zone, right on the edge, knowing that there might be a lot of teams coming over from the Ruins. Perhaps they heard a lot of shots from that direction. But FaZe, once again, in an excellent position in this zone. Meanwhile, we're looking at Space Station Gaming. Again, still, actually, D-Master did end up falling. So only 3 up here for Space Station Gaming, and they're still trying to make their way into this zone. Dignitas covering that area. 1 currently down from Dignitas. They've been around that tree this entire time, trying to hold that position. So Space Station knows exactly where they are, but they're having trouble moving forward. And there's a little bit of a sense of urgency here because the blue's going to come in very soon. So they have to make a decision. They have to make a move, be confident maybe, and really make a run towards Dignitas because they have to get in that zone.
So the problem for FaZe is that C9 is still in the game, and C9 are actually behind them. Whether or not they say, oh, look at that. So now you see that, we actually flip onto this fight, so they're going to keep them in. First Space, this should be easy kills for him. The drill comes in, the AKM. We move across to Frolica. Oh, he's getting tagged up in the back. He wasn't responding to his teammates' calls. Oh, the double split fight. C9, this should be RIP, boys and girls.
You got to focus on one area at a time. Cloud9, their tension kind of split in 2 different directions from our member from Optic Gaming there, and also FaZe coming around the right-hand side. So a little bit of a lapse in communication there.
He did get a kill, though, on the Optic guy, so at least he jumped a position before going out.
Sure, so Optic down just before that elimination. Meanwhile, Space Station
They have.
Doing exactly what we were talking about.
Amazing.
They're like, you know what? You got to make a move. You got to go after Dignitas. That's exactly what they did. This is the Space Station team that won 2 rounds yesterday. Yes, they won the first 2 rounds back-to-back, and they're going to try to make that happen again. We have 3 teams left right now in the action. Round number 7, FaZe, Space Station, and Tempo Storm. We have 3 up from FaZe, 3 up from Space Station, and I believe only 2 up from Tempo Storm.
So now FaZe, what they can do if they can keep 3 alive.
What a shot, though.
Because they're close to the circle, this circle should be theirs. They can control how this game goes. They can dictate this storyline. It all depends where they move. They can be the gatekeepers, get front and center on the edge of that circle and force everyone out of it. Everybody has to come to them, and they have the numbers advantage.
And Space Station's getting sandwiched.
It depends on this fight. SSG and Tempo, if they go after one another, FaZe are absolutely laughing.
Yeah, they're in the worst spot here. They're not in the zone. They're furthest away from the zone. FaZe and Tempo Storm can kind of sneak into the zone from the kind of the bottom, but I'm sure they're both looking straight. Oh, and now we're seeing some firefights here between FaZe and Tempo Storm. And those are some good shots.
That should be a kill.
Oh, my gosh. He's going to go try to revive him, maybe.
Yeah,
but he's also
there's not enough time at this point. You can't sit around and do this. Zampa's literally going to drive and hope that SSG go down before him.
I love the active movement, though, from FaZe. They could have been preoccupied with Space Station, but no, they kind of retreat a little bit, making sure they're watching over Tempo Storm as well, so they're able to field both of these battles at once, and there's a shot there from Jempty. He's making his presence known. FaZe has arrived in Las Vegas, and they're here. They smell the blood. They want this first place, and it's 3 versus 2.
So now the enemy becomes the circle. These guys are on the back. Literally all FaZe have to do is just keep putting down.
They're fine, dude.
All they got to do is put cover fire.
It feels like
just
they've been fine the past 8 minutes. They've been completely in control of this. They've been in the center of the zone this whole time. They've been dictating the action, watching these edges. And now 3v2 situation, now 3v1 as Vexel being dropped. Smurf is the only one alive, and he has the blue on him. What is the move from here? Look at how much damage the blue is doing. I think he's done. I think FaZe has got it, and they do. Space Station in second, FaZe in first. FaZe trying to climb that mountain, but unfortunately for them, Space Station, they were already at the top of our standings, so they're only going to be helped by the second place position. So FaZe doing a great job, but Space Station also number 2, not too bad for them, but FaZe, they get the chicken dinner.
So 2 sides to this story then. First of all, we saw MBS 3rd place, Wham Bam Thank You Ma'am, down in 16th. We said the top-ended teams would have to do bad to some of the lower teams to actually do well. FaZe, that midway bracket, they get the chicken dinner, they get the win. But still, as you say, SSG at the top, a second place is still damn good. And
Tempo Storm as well, just in 3rd. But FaZe, our chicken dinner winner for round number 7 of our PUBG Pan-Continental.
Thanks so much, Axel, Toss, and Sims. Yes, FaZe have done it. They've won their first chicken dinner. They got a bit of a journey to get to the top of the standings, but they've made a pretty good start here in Las Vegas. Martin, how did they do it?
Well, honestly, here, the first zone was on the northwestern side. It was a 50-50 circle. They bet that it was going to go north, so they actually rotated super far, coming in on the north, and then it shifted south. And they had to shift all the way back, and in a big rotation, came in just on the northern side of Pochinki and kind of fought their way in. And then the circle, it popped away from them, and they took a chance going into the center of the zone. But because they have so much map knowledge, they know exactly where to play. They're kind of the ledge-rich kind of area where the trees covered them, and they could play off the vehicles.